Welcome back, musical friends, and thank you so much for tuning in. They've done it again. Slate Digital has released to us a brand new EQ, an API emulated EQ, which sounds absolutely phenomenal. If you're an Everything Bundle user like I am, you got this plugin for free yesterday. If you're not an Everything plugin bundle user, you can still get this EQ. It's $150. It sounds absolutely incredible. I wanted to take you through a couple sound sources today and show you how it sounds. Let's dive right in. If you're familiar with API EQs, you're going to feel right at home with this one. Slate, as you know, painstakingly recreates every nuance that they possibly can in their plugins, and they do a hell of a good job. This is no different. If you take a look down here on the bottom right, you'll see this op amp button. Here is where all those nuances come into play as far as the EQ sounds. It comes engaged when you already put the plugin in. Basically, it's going to give you all the saturation and harmonic distortion that you'll get from an API EQ. You can hit these things really, really hard, and they sound fantastic. They soak up the transient in a very musical way, and there's a reason why it's one of the most famous EQs that has ever been built. Over here on the bottom left, you have a filter button, and that's going to band pass your signal from 50 Hertz all the way to 15K. Next up, we have these low frequency and high frequency buttons. Those pretty much turn your high frequency band and your low frequency band into shelving bands. So as opposed to them being bell curves, they're going to become shelves. Another really cool thing about this EQ, and probably one of my favorites, is that APIs are known for being stepped EQs, meaning they go only in certain increments. However, Slate got smart and they gave us a continuous EQ. So holding down Command and then clicking, if you're a Mac user, allows you to really dive in. That goes for the frequency and for the boost or the cut that you may be making. Last but not least, you just have an overall output knob. You can either turn that down or boost the signal depending on the EQ moves you make. That's pretty much the plugin. Let's see how it sounds. So first up is the snare drum. Just to walk you guys through the chain right here, I have my snare top on the left window and then the snare bottom on the right window, just so you guys can see the two chains together. First up in the chain, I have the virtual channel, which is just giving me some vibe from, an SSL style console. Following that, we just have some high pass filter going on, and then here's where the magic happens with the API, and then we're running that into some compression. Let's hear how it sounds first without the API. And with. Without. With. So you can see there's some pretty big boosts going on, especially on my high frequency band there. I'm at 7K, 60B on both the top and the bottom mics. And it doesn't sound harsh at all. It just sounds nice and crisp. It's beautiful. Without. A little dark sounding. Put it in. That's adding crack to that snare nicely. Next up, we're going to take a look at it on bass. I have a DI and a SM57 being bussed into a bass bus, and we're just going to hear how that sounds. Sounding pretty good. Let's see if we can enhance that even more. That continuous control of the frequency band is really nice. At 1.5 it sounded good, but the nose of that bass is really sitting more at like 1.2. We're bringing that out with that 6 dB boost there. Let's hear it before and after. Let's try to get a level match. Nice difference. saturation is coming through really nicely. Let's try to increase the frequency band here a little bit to about 140-ish. So flat sounding without the EQ. That's really nice. Okay, now for some guitars. For this, I'm putting it across the guitar bus. I have on the left side, I have a Marshall amp mic'd up with a Royer 121. And for the right guitar, I'm using the SM57 and bust them together. Here's what it sounds like without the EQ. Really nice combination between those two mics, the Royer and the SM57. It's two different performances, same guitar part though. Let's see what we can do with this API to make it sound better. Here it is dry again. With. Without. With. That's nice. So I'm doing a boost at 7K at about 4 dB. I use that continuous feature again to really dial it in the way I wanted to. I'm a little bit higher than 1.5 at about 2 dB, cutting out a little bit of 600 hertz, just a little bit over 2 dB, and then we're boosting it around 250 with the shelving filters on, by the way, on both the low and the high. And of course, we're keeping that op amp on for those saturation characteristics. And then just lowering the attenuation a little bit on the output just to match the level. That's sweet. Dark, almost muddy. Much more intelligible. It's nice. Well, friends, that pretty much wraps up this one for today. Just a quick video. Wanted to give Slate Digital a shout because they make absolutely unbelievable plugins, and I thought this one needed some attention. Once again, it's the FGA from Slate Digital, emulating an API EQ, one of the top EQs of music history and mixing history, you name it. Guys, I hope you enjoyed that one. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.